6:30, sorry. The longest minute ever. Can you hear me? I just have to get close. Good evening. Thank you for attending the Meet the Candidate Night. We would like to thank our community members for submitting questions for tonight. We received a substantial number of thoughtful questions, and due to the timeline of this evening, we've carefully narrowed those down while striving to represent the themes and topics most frequently submitted. Tonight, it's my pleasure to introduce our guest moderator for the event, Patrick Longo, a member relations and engagement manager of New York State School Boards Association. He has worked in education for the past 23 years as an English and communications instructor at colleges in Schenectady, New York, and in San Francisco, California. He's also served as an administrator of K-12 collegiate workforce development, after school enrichment and continuing education programs. In addition, he has served as the Director of Client Services and Talent Acquisition at a transportation logistics software provider for school districts. Please welcome Patrick Longo.
Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you to the audience and to the school district, for the administration and the board for having us out here. New York State School Boards Association, we have 670 members across the state, and we provide information, advocacy, and professional development to all our members. Our mission is to help board members become the most effective board member they can be. We're very proud to have Hamilton Central School District as a member, and we thank the candidates and we thank the board for the service that they provide to the community and especially to the students. So thank you. So tonight we're going to start with the introduction of the candidates. These are bios that I'm going to read, and I'm going to read them in the order that they were actually submitted to the district. Candidate biographies were submitted by the candidates and are in the order determined by the drawing of lots. First up is Travis Ames. I'm Travis Ames. As a board member and longtime advocate for our district, I ask for your support to serve our community. As an HCS taxpayer for over 20 years, a SUNY Morrisville graduate, and an architectural woodworker, I bring a distinct, straightforward perspective. I'm running to provide active oversight and accountability, balanced leadership, and the determination to ask the critical questions that lead to better solutions. My perspective is shaped by seeing our school from all sides. My wife teaches here. Our daughter is an upcoming senior, and our son starts kindergarten. Supporting our students begins with supporting faculty and staff. A safe, supportive environment is the foundation of a successful school. I also recognize the reality of stagnant funding and a stressed tax base. Long-term success requires a board that values input from all residents and ensures no part of our community feels their concerns are secondary. I'll treat our village and rural communities, such as Hubbardsville, with equal importance. My focus is on academic excellence, open communication, and responsible stewardship. I'll advocate for practical solutions that protect both students' education and taxpayers' investment. I look forward to working together for our district's success. Okay, next we have Casey Tatangelo. I joined the Hamilton community in 2018 when my partner Kelly began teaching mathematics at Colgate University. I grew up in a rural Maine town, and I am a stonemason and independent contractor. In 2020, we welcomed 2 foster children who quickly integrated into the HCS community. We love the small, everyone knows each other feel of Hamilton, and we know our kids are receiving a well-rounded education. We formally adopted our kids last year, and we look forward to watching them grow and learn at HCS. As the son of a former school board member, my mother compassionately served my school community for much of my childhood, later graduate of a small public school, I understand the responsibilities that come with the role of helping to lead the district and serving my community. My background in running a business has taught me communications, budgeting, and project management skills that will contribute to my success as an HCS board member. I believe in supporting each student's individual needs, listening to kids, parents, and teachers, and forming and maintaining a bridge we can all meet on to ensure we keep HCS a great school. Okay, and last we have Amanda Phillips. I'm proud to seek re-election to the Hamilton Board of Education after serving a 3-year term guided by a clear principle, putting student well-being and opportunity first in every decision. I approach each decision thoughtfully, using research and data to make informed choices that best serve our students and community. As a native of Hamilton, former HCS student, and proud parent of 4 children in the elementary, middle, and high school, I bring a personal understanding of the experiences, challenges, and opportunities our communities face every day. I remain committed to ensuring every student has access to a high-quality education and a wide range of opportunities in a supportive, inclusive environment. Supporting our teachers and staff is equally important, recognizing the critical role they play in student success. I understand that supporting public education comes at a cost, so responsible stewardship of taxpayer resources while maintaining strong educational programs is something I will continue to ensure. The goal of providing an excellent public education is a collaborative effort, and engagement with the broader community through meaningful and ongoing discussions will help inform decisions towards achieving this goal. I respectfully ask your support to continue this work. Thank you, candidates. Okay. Next, we're going to move into the candidate opening statements. The candidates have 5 minutes each. I will time it. The first candidate to speak will be Travis Ames. Let me know when you're ready, Travis.
Just one moment. Okay, I'm all set. Good evening. I'm Travis Ames. I'd like to thank the organizers for putting this event together and for the opportunity to speak with you all tonight. I'm a parent, a homeowner, and a believer in HCS. With a daughter in her junior year and a son starting kindergarten and a wife teaching in our classrooms, my daily life is centered around our schools. My mother was a district clerk. My father served many years on a school board, and I am a former board member myself. I've been around school governance my entire life. I know the work, I know this district, and I'm ready to put that experience to use for our students, staff, and community. One of my goals, if elected, is to help the board to continue their standard of transparency and accountability, and to build upon it, where every choice is explained and every dollar is justified. As you heard in my bio, I am a craftsman by trade. My days are about structural integrity and proper planning. My work requires the discipline to measure twice and cut once. I believe a board should operate with that same discipline. Being a board member is more than just a title. It's a demanding volunteer role that requires a high level of dedication. An effective member invests significant time outside of the boardroom, attending school functions, collaborating with our leadership, and thoroughly analyzing the information that informs our decisions. I'm ready to put in the hours necessary to ensure our board operates with clarity and purpose. I believe that to live up to our motto of every student, every day, we must focus on the foundation of our entire pre-K through 12 structure. I am a firm believer in the importance of early intervention to ensure every child has a fair start. By funding targeted instructional, social, emotional, and developmental supports, we provide our students with the tools they require to thrive early in life. This proactive approach ensures that our children can navigate their academic, physical, and social hurdles before those hurdles become more difficult and in turn more costly to address in the later grades. Now, as you know, we welcome a new superintendent this July. While I am confident in her abilities, a transition into this role involves a significant learning curve. A balanced and collaborative board will be the key to ensuring her transition is smooth, efficient, and successful. If elected, I look forward to working again with our returning board members and either candidate beside me here tonight. My focus is on providing the steady, experienced partnership our new leadership needs to succeed for our students, staff, and community. Yet, regardless of who is elected, we have to be honest about our reality. Our enrollment is continuing to shrink while our operational costs are mounting at a rate we can't ignore. With HCS being a low aid district, the weight falls on you, the local taxpayer. I myself am supportive of this year's budget, as it is tax cap compliant, retains student programs, and results in zero personnel cost cuts. But protecting our faculty and staff requires more than just support. It requires active oversight to prevent things like significant tax cap overrides. This district will only continue to thrive if we recognize that we've reached the limit of what we can cut through attrition. To protect our classrooms and our taxpayers, we must move beyond reactive fixes and commit to long-term disciplined planning. So to address this, I advocate for regional partnerships. While we should continue to strengthen our work with Madison Oneida BOCES, we must also lead the way in sharing educational opportunities and technology directly with our neighbors. This is the fiscally responsible way to protect our student programs while keeping our HCS identity intact. Now, beyond any single issue, I am running to provide the oversight and long-term stability HCS needs. Our board is at its best when it reflects the entire community, our students, parents, and taxpayers alike. Electing me would add a necessary balance to the conversation. I offer a perspective that doesn't just mirror the current board, but instead provides a constructive sounding board for the voices and concerns that have been historically overlooked in this district. So with that, I look forward to your questions, and I thank you for your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Travis. Next, we have Casey Tatangelo.
Sure, my mic's working here. Too loud. All right. Good evening. Just a little about myself. I love spending time in nature and hiking with my dog, playing music, cooking, and most of all, sharing with friends and family. I have my own small masonry business that typically includes building new or repairing old stone walls, patios, and occasional chimneys or whatever may be needed. My work is somewhat seasonal in the frozen tundra of central New York, so a large part of my time is spent as the primary caregiver and getting kids where they need to be, typically just a few minutes late and missing at least one item on average. When it comes to my values and principles, I believe in hard work, kindness towards neighbors, and practicing patience in an instant world. I want to advocate for those who need support and give empathy and compassion to those around me. I want to bring positivity to the community and work with my fellow board members to make the best choices for our school. I'm very proud to be here tonight, and I'm proud for a number of reasons. If you'll indulge me for a moment, I'd like to share with you a couple of these reasons. Number one, I'm proud to be a father. My children make me so proud every day. As young children, they went through the trying foster care system, and by some awesome fortune, they came to live with my wife, Kelly, and I. They have been nothing short of magnificent and courageous, and HCS is a big part of our shared story. Another reason I'm standing proud, or sitting, I guess, on this stage tonight is my parents. When I was a child, my mother served on the board of my public school district, made up of 5 piddly-wink rural Maine towns whose elementary schools all filtered to one slightly larger high school. Yes, my mother was a staple of Maine Administrative District Number 37, a voice for peace and understanding in a community like all other communities where people have issues and disagreements that need to be cared for and ironed out. My mom passed away in 2019, but her legacy lives on. My brother now serves on the board at Cherryfield Elementary, where he and I both attended. The other day I called my father once I had finalized my decision to run. I didn't want to call and discuss with him whether I should run or not because I knew it wouldn't be much of a discussion. His opinion would be an overwhelmingly strong one in favor of me running. Once I made my decision, it was time to call Dad and talk. I think he was driving down the road or something. I said, "Dad, I'm going to run for the school board." There was a long moment of silence, followed by a glow in his voice. He told me right then that he was tearing up, and that wherever my mother was, she was smiling and singing. A third reason I'm proud to be here tonight is because of the amazing woman I'm lucky enough to call my wife. She herself is a patient, energetic, diligent, and unflinching teacher, yet she is overworked and, in my opinion, often underappreciated. She works all hours of the day and night for her students to make their lives better. She cares deeply about each individual and their particular pathway in life. These are our teachers, everybody. We owe them the world. The teachers, administrators, all other staff members who make this school run and care deeply about each student, they are the ones we are supporting as board members. Because HCS may not have all the bells and whistles, but what we do have is a place where the kids can go and they will be somebody. They will get the attention they deserve, and I am running for school board to ensure we make the right choices to keep helping these children succeed. I mean, I've only lived in Hamilton for 8 short years. I may not be considered a local yet or ever, but this is a great place you've got here. I'd like to try and help keep it that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. And last, we have Amanda Phillips.
Yes, hi.
5 minutes.
Okay. Thanks, Patrick, for coming tonight to moderate, and thanks to everybody who is here tonight. I hope that this conversation is helpful. I'm honored to be here before you today to seek re-election to the HCS School Board. For those who don't know me, I grew up in Hamilton, where I attended HCS, and after spending several years away, I chose to return to my husband, to my hometown, where we're now raising our 4 children. My mother is a retired Montessori teacher who had a school here in the village, and my father's a contractor. I currently work as an interior designer for a local firm and enjoy fixing up our 1850s house when I get the time, which is never. After serving 2 years as a parent member on the elementary steering committee, I've spent the last 3 years on the Board of Education. During my tenure, I've helped shape district goals, review budgets, and hire a new superintendent. I believe that informed leadership requires listening to all perspectives and making objective, data-informed decisions that prioritize student well-being and opportunity. I've had the privilege of serving with 4 other exceptionally dedicated board members. I've learned so much about our school and learned so much about all the hard work that goes into providing a well-rounded education that meets the needs of all students. Together, we as a board have worked to the best of our ability to make sure that this district reflects the values of our broader community and provides an educational experience that prioritizes every student every day. I have a deep connection to our community and a vested interest in the education of our children. As I mentioned, I grew up here in the district outside the village in the town of Madison. I attended HCS, and now we have 4 children that are currently enrolled in elementary, middle, and high school. I moved away for college and then worked for Habitat for Humanity for a number of years, but at the point when we were going to start a family, my husband and I decided that this community was the exactly right place that we wanted to raise a family. It's a beautiful, safe community, a diverse community with so many kinds of people, with so many different professions and backgrounds, and it has a great pre-K through 12 school, which is a thing in and of itself to have everybody all in one building. It's part of what makes HCS so amazing. My extended family lives here, along with many community members, some of whom in the audience tonight are actually I've known for decades. Some are relatively new friends. My roots in this community run deep, and I believe I bring a personal understanding of the experiences, challenges, and opportunities our community faces every day. This community is also one that's always supported public education. I remember when I was in 2nd grade and we were raising money to build a new playground, students would go around and sell buy-a-boards to the community members, which were just popsicle sticks and did not build the playground itself. But once we raised the money, the community then pitched in to build the playground, including my father, who, as mentioned, is a contractor. People like my mother brought food to these events, and we, as a community, came together to build this playground. It's a moment that really stands out to me to this day because it was such an amazing example of the community coming together to support the school. And although that playground is long gone, sadly, this community is still just as supportive of our school as it was in the 80s. The school should reflect the values of the community, and in entrusting me as a community representative on the Board of Education, I'll continue to advocate for a district that this community can be proud of. My platform is built on 4 key pillars that I believe are essential. I'm going to briefly share some of that because I don't have a lot of time, but you can read about it more on amandaphillipsboe.org if you want to. 1 is community engagement and open communication. Community members, parents, teachers, administrators, and students all have important insights into what it takes to provide a successful learning environment. I want to engage with and listen to what the whole community has to say. Teacher support and curriculum. The teachers, as we know, are the backbone of our school. They're the ones that have the education and experience to implement and enrich the curriculum standards set forth by the state. So we have to support them and listen to what they need, budgetarily, resources, and for professional development. We have to also be fiscally responsible. School taxes are a necessity to fund the excellent public education that our community values. But thoughtful consideration of the proposed budget is essential to make sure tax dollars coming in are allocated where they're most needed to achieve the educational goals and pinpoint any wasteful expenditures. And lastly, equity and inclusion in education. Every student deserves equal opportunities, regardless of their ability, socioeconomic background, race, gender, or religion. Providing a safe and inclusive learning environment that supports the student's social and emotional well-being allows students to feel valued, respected, and supported, which leads to better academic outcomes and increased engagement. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Amanda. We're going to move on to the question and answer session. The candidates will have 2 minutes to answer each question. Each of you can ask me to recite the question once, okay, just to freshen up. The first question is going to go to Casey first, then it'll go to Amanda, and then Travis. All right, first question. You all set, Casey?
There we go.
All right, the question is, why are you running for the board? What motivated your decision? And what do you hope you bring to the BOE team?
So it's like 3 parts, okay. I think I'm running for the board because I'm looking forward to learning how kind of the policies are made for the school and what kind of deliberation goes on with the board to kind of govern those ideas and so I guess that part of the question would just be looking forward to learning a new way to help out in the community and in the school. Could you read me the other parts of the question?
Why are you running for the board? What motivated your decision? And what do you hope to bring to the BOE team?
I think what motivated my decision was just having a lot of pride in the community and a lot of friends here that I can hopefully help out to make sure the school is working for their families and for everyone around. And was there a third part?
Those are the questions.
Okay, thanks. That's all I got.
Are you all set?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Casey. Next, we'll have Amanda. Would you like me to read the questions again?
Yes, please.
Okay. Why are you running for the board? What motivated your decision? And what do you hope you bring to the BOE team? 2 minutes.
Thanks. Why do I want to run for the board again? I think that I now know a lot more of what I'm doing on the board. I feel like I have a lot more to offer, a lot more to contribute. I believe in public education and think that my creativity and connection to this community would be valuable on the board. I want to learn and accomplish more on the board. I haven't yet been a part of the policy committee or inclusivity committee, so I would like to experience that. I want to do more with advocacy. I've kind of helped out Jen a little bit with that, but that needs some more effort put into it, so I would like to do more with that. I think that one of my obligations as a board member is to push for continual growth in what our school offers. And so I would just like to continue to be a part of that. I want to continue to advocate for, what are the decision? I want to continue to advocate for more community involvement and transparency. So making sure that we have really good communication with all of the constituents, all of the community members, teachers. We have to bring them into the conversation and make sure that they feel able to participate. And one of the biggest things that I can do as a board member for that, I think, is to listen and to have conversations. Listen to anybody that has anything to say. Take that in. We might not always agree, but I will bring that back to the board and we can discuss. We all have so many different opinions and different people that we talk to, and I think by coming together and sharing all of those, we can kind of make more informed decisions. I think one thing that I do bring to the board, just with my background, besides being so vested in the community and knowing it so well, having grown up here, you know, I also grew up outside of the village. You know, my parents are still up on Johnny Cake Hill.
It's time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yay, Johnny Cake Hill.
Okay, 2 minutes. We're going to go to Travis. Would you like me to read the question again?
You don't have to, it's about motivation, right?
I'm sorry?
About motivation?
I'm sorry.
Is it about motivation, the question?
Is it about motivation?
The question, is it about motivation? You don't have,
Would you like me to read the question again, or I don't want to interpret?
sure. Yeah,
Okay.
if you could read the question again, please.
Why are you running for the board? What motivated your decision? And what do you hope you bring to the BOE team?
Okay, thank you. My motivation for running is rooted in a lifelong respect for the public school system. Similar to the background of one of my other candidates, my father served on a school board for many years, and my mother was a longtime school district clerk. With my wife and sister currently teaching, I see the daily effort it takes to make a school run. But while that family history inspires me, my primary reason for running for the board again is a practical one. I believe our district is at a critical turning point. We are facing the reality of shrinking enrollment and rising operational costs that we simply cannot ignore. My primary goal is to help provide the active oversight needed to prevent another 9% tax spike like we saw last year. To keep HCS thriving, we have to choose technical honesty, adapting to our current financial realities while protecting our identity as a small central school. To keep HCS thriving, we have to choose technical honesty, adapting to our current financial realities while protecting our identity as a small central school. Might have repeated that. My priority is protecting the foundation of our entire pre-K through 12 structure. I am a firm believer in funding early intervention through various support services because it is the most reasonable way to manage our funding. It ensures that students overcome hurdles early before those hurdles become bigger hurdles and much more expensive to address in later grades. We must also have the courage to explore regional partnerships that protect our student offerings while ensuring our budget remains fair and tax cap compliant. We must also plan for and address the issues facing our bus garage and our transportation fleet as we have to begin moving forward with zero-emission mandates. My goals are focused on safety, financial stability, academic excellence, and proactive leadership. So I'm not running in response to a single moment or a single issue. I'm running to ensure the foundation of this district remains strong for my children and yours.
Okay. Thank you, Travis. Okay, the second question. For this question, Amanda will be first, Travis will be asked second, and Casey will be asked third. How would you approach budget planning in a time of declining enrollment while balancing fiscal responsibility with thoughtful decisions about which programs and opportunities to maintain, expand, or adjust to best serve students? Please include your thoughts on a potential tax cap override to preserve staffing and programming.
Sorry, could you repeat the question
Casey's
one more
first.
time?
I'm sorry?
Can you repeat it one more time?
Read the question again?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah. How would you approach budget planning in a time of declining enrollment while balancing fiscal responsibility with thoughtful decisions about which programs and opportunities to maintain, expand, or adjust to best serve students. Please include your thoughts on a potential tax cap override to preserve staffing and programming.
Thank you. I think that in order to make many of the budget decisions, and this has gone into I've only been a part of 3 different budget discussions, but we have to look at data. We have to look at what programs students are utilizing. We have to look at what students are asking for. We have to look at what support teachers need. And we need to take that into account when we are developing the budget. It's true that, budgets and state aid are decreasing and that we're seeing more need, as we just saw in the presentation. I was in favor last budget season of going over the tax cap, and that was to maintain programming, because that is what conversations that I had had with community members were reflective of, and a lot of teachers too. The year before, we did some shuffling of a lot of teachers, and they're stressed, and you can only ask so much of them. And I guess my answer to the question about the tax cap would be that if the teachers if the students need us to go over the tax cap, I wouldn't do it lightly. I would look for efficiencies in other areas, but I think that we do need to support students and teachers to the best of our ability. And I think the community supports that also.
All set?
All set.
Okay, thank you, Amanda. Okay, Travis, you're up next. Would you like me to read the question again?
No, thank you. I think I got it.
Okay.
So my budget priorities are grounded in structural integrity. As we navigate a nearly $17 million budget, I believe that every dollar must serve a clear academic or operational purpose. To achieve that, I've established 4 specific pillars for my oversight. First, we must stabilize the tax levy. Now, to answer the part of that question, if I ever would override it, that's a very situational question. About 12 to 15 years ago, the board chose to override the tax cap because the formulation formula was actually 0%. So the override wasn't significant, but there would have been no more funding if you hadn't. Beyond that, if a board ever considers it, I think that they should really elicit community feedback and opinion before the meeting that they choose to propose a budget. It shouldn't be a surprise to the administration, and it shouldn't be a big surprise to the community. It should be about communication. With that said, I am a firm yes on this year's budget because it is tax cap compliant. Second, we must protect our programmatic foundation. This means prioritizing services like social emotional learning, amongst others. Third, we must lean out our operational overhead. A lot of people are concerned about the administrative part of the budget, the growth. I understand it's very complicated, but that doesn't mean that we can't scrutinize every line item. We have to ensure that growth isn't happening at the top of the organization at the expense of our faculty or our offerings. Last, we need to focus on our facilities and upcoming projects. We must devise a serious, sustainable, and affordable plan for addressing our bus garage situation, electric buses, and the infrastructure. So I would treat the budget process as a serious responsibility, one that requires time and commitment. Thank you.
Thank you, Travis. Okay. Casey, would you like me to read the question again? Yes.
Could I hear it one more time? Yeah.
How would you approach budget planning in a time of declining enrollment while balancing fiscal responsibility with thoughtful decisions about which programs and opportunities to maintain, expand, or adjust to the best serve students? Please include your thoughts on a potential tax cap override to preserve staffing and programming.
I think I would use my fellow board members and all other resources, including teachers and parents, the community, to find out how we could possibly adapt programs while still maintaining their, effectiveness. I I'd ask the community to trust that these programs are needed for their kids to succeed. And I believe that there's probably certain programs that need to be funded no matter what. I know that's probably not always fiscally possible, but you know, as long as we keep the education first, and if that I think people would agree to passing the budget, whether it needed to be above the tax cap or not. You know, and hopefully when I get on the board, I can learn a lot more about how these, how the funding works, and maybe that will give me a better understanding of how to answer this question. But that's pretty much what I have for now. Yeah.
You all set?
Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. Okay, next question. The third question will be Travis first, Casey second, and Amanda third. As we prepare for a leadership change this July, what do you see as the biggest hurdles facing our new superintendent and the most important priorities for the district over the next 3 years?
Can you repeat that question one more time? I didn't catch the last
Yes.
part.
As we prepare for a leadership change this July, what do you see as the biggest hurdles facing our new superintendent and the most important priorities for the district over the next 3 years?
Okay. A second. A leadership transition is a pivotal moment for any district. While our incoming superintendent is somewhat familiar with our district from her previous employment, moving into the lead administrative role here carries a steep learning curve. The board's primary job during her first year is to provide a stable framework that allows her to grow her talents into becoming an effective leader for our district. I've always believed in a clear vision of roles. The board sets the what, the policy and vision, and the superintendent determines the how, the daily management. For a new leader, the board's most valuable contribution is maintaining that boundary. Having worked productively with our last two superintendents and several interims, I understand that the best partnerships are built on respect, and part of that is a no surprises philosophy. This means doing the majority of your information gathering before the meetings and discussing certain concerns privately and professionally. This ensures that when we are in meetings, we present a cohesive, professional front to the community. So success in year 1 to 3 isn't about promises or explicit expectations. Rather, it is about stability, forming relationships and showing a commitment to learning in both personal and district growth. My goal would be to use my experience with our district's history and current realities to act as a bridge, helping her navigate the complex state and federal requirements while she builds her own unique leadership style. I would also encourage her to lean into supportive organizations such as NICOS, SANSI, and NISBA, and other local experienced superintendents for support and advice. So I am excited to welcome our new leader in July. Her background and her experience in negotiations give her a unique perspective on our district's heart and soul. And I might add that she has some big shoes to fill because she's replacing an incredibly talented and compassionate leader to this district. So no pressure. My commitment to her and to you is to help the board provide fair, independent oversight and a respectful partnership.
Time.
Okay.
Thank you, Travis.
Thank you.
Casey, you're up next. Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I think the biggest hurdles facing the new superintendent will probably be looking at the dropping tuition rate and balancing the budget, as we've all been talking about tonight. I think the priority will be helping the community to kind of come together behind the new superintendent to have the community's support. And you know, with all the issues that face children in schools today, I think that the superintendent will have plenty of hurdles to face, as we all will. Maybe the most important priorities would be just supporting all the kids and being a good listener to the community and being able to work with others work with the board, and I wish them luck in their new role. And thank you.
You all set?
Yeah.
Okay. Amanda, would you like me to read the question again?
No, I'm okay, thank you.
Okay.
I think that a lot of the biggest hurdles, which was the first part, that she's going to face, obviously, budget. We have increasing student needs that always need to be met and addressed. We have a declining enrollment, and I don't know that there's much that she can do about that, but that is just a hurdle that the whole district, all small districts have to overcome. There are changing graduation measures down the pipeline that we have to make sure we're prepared for as a district, and I think also communication, we need to make sure, we're constantly working on communication because we want to be transparent. We want to make sure that we're listening to everybody. But there's work to do there, and we're constantly trying as a board to work for that. And I think that that is something that can be bolstered. And lastly, we need to make sure that we have teacher job satisfaction. I mean, we need to make sure that they feel supported, and I think that that is not necessarily a hurdle, but something that can't be overlooked. What are the biggest, those are kind of the challenges and the biggest priorities, I guess. So the biggest priority, communication. I think as she enters this new role, she has to also not, she's got to take care of herself. You have to, I kind of learned this as a mother. The mom needs to sleep so that the kids can survive. So she has to make sure that she's taken care of too. She needs to form relationships with the community because she does know the community pretty well from her former work with our district. But, just being out in the community, listening to all the stakeholders. And then just finding creative ways to kind of create funding. I mean, we have some really awesome teachers here that actually got a grant to put on the Jungle Book. And so there are creative ways that we can look to that. And, I'm a creative person. I'd be really willing to look at what can we do, think outside the box. And I think that that would be a priority in terms of trying to balance all of the priorities that we have and make sure that all of the students are supported. Thanks. Okay.
Thank you, Amanda. Okay, next question. It'll be Casey first, Amanda second, Travis third. You all set, Casey?
Yes.
Okay. What is your vision for protecting electives such as BOCES, agriculture, and the arts programs to ensure they remain a core part of our district's identity for the next generation of students?
Well, I would educate myself on how those programs work and what students they work for. I would definitely make those a priority in the budget, as I know not all students learn the same, and a lot of kids probably need agriculture and maybe trade or different kinds of education. So I would be an advocate for keeping those programs in the budget and making sure that there's bus transportation for those students if possible. That's about it, I guess.
You all set?
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Casey. Amanda, you're up next. You're set?
Yep.
Do you need me to read the question again?
Yes, one more time. Thank you.
Okay. What is your vision for protecting electives such as BOCES, agriculture, and the arts programs to ensure they remain a core part of our district's identity for the next generation of students?
Thanks. Those programs have always been part of HCS, and I don't anticipate those going away or declining. If you just look at the data, we have more kids than ever that are going to BOCES enrolled in CTE programs. That seems to be increasing year to year. So if you look at the numbers, you have to know that that's where the students are gravitating towards. That's what needs to be supportive. Our ag program is amazing. We've got some dual credit courses. My daughter is enrolled in horticulture, brings home beautiful bouquets all the time. But that's something that she loves and she gravitates towards. My other daughter is really involved in FFA. She's going this weekend, actually, to a convention, state convention, to present on plant identification. But you just have to look at what the student needs are, and students are demanding those programs, and so we need to support those. And I think that to protect those, we need to have a budget that supports those. But we also have to look at regional opportunities that are available to us. We have a lot of community partners. We've got a lot of people with knowledge of all sorts of programs that can help to foster these programs in our school. They could volunteer. We could look at regionalization in terms of having certain programs, having kids come to our school to learn from our ag department, and then having other students go to another school to learn something different, depending on what their specialties are. So we just have to get creative under the budget constraints that we have in order to protect all the opportunities that students are demanding.
You all set?
That's it, yep.
Thank you, Amanda.
Sure.
Travis, are you all set?
Okay, I think I
Would you
got
like
it.
me to read the question again?
No, I'm good. Our BOCES ag, music, and art programs are not just electives. They are the heart of our district's identity. I am a product of BOCES myself. I was in the first year of their internship program, and now I'm proud to say that my daughter has been accepted into that same program, so I'm very excited. I know firsthand that these pathways provide a practical proficiency that the New York State Portrait of a Graduate model is finally starting to recognize. I also see and appreciate the incredible work being done in our ag electives, our art and music electives, and other offerings. Let's not forget our after-school clubs and sports programs. However, as a low-aid district facing declining enrollment, we have to be honest. Programs like music, art, AP offerings, after-school clubs, and sports are often the first to be scrutinized during budget cuts because they are not mandated. My vision is to explore protecting them through strategic resource sharing. We shouldn't have to cut a high-level AP course or a specialized ag elective just because of the class size or budgetary constraints. So by expanding our regional partnerships, sharing technologies, and even specific course offerings with neighboring districts, we can keep our diverse curriculum intact. We must also continue to maximize our relationship with BOCES, the original source of regional partnerships. We should continue and expand our advocacy efforts to stress to our lawmakers how important school funding is and how we need more of it. So protecting these programs also requires in-house fiduciary discipline. We need to look big picture. We need to stress the importance of setting policies that protect the district from liabilities, which is another crucial part of fiscal responsibility. You see, every dollar we can save in a line item budget in auditing is a dollar we can keep in the classroom. So we must ensure that HCS remains a place where students don't just attend, but thrive through a well-rounded education.
Thank you, Travis.
Thank you, Patrick.
Okay, this will be our fifth question of the night. Amanda, you'll be first on this question. Travis, you'll be second. Casey will be third. You all set, Amanda? How do you define the specific role and responsibilities of a board member within the Hamilton Central School District? And given your current professional and personal obligations, how do you plan to manage the significant time commitment required to be an effective, prepared member of this board?
Thank you. The responsibilities generally of a board member are to hire a superintendent. But more than that, we need to establish the long-term vision and goals for the district, and then we need to communicate these well to the superintendent to implement. We have to do budget oversight, making sure that we're asking questions if we need clarification on what priorities are. We have a responsibility to lead by example and to be good role models for the community. And all of the decisions that we make have to be guided by what is best for students. We have to establish and adopt policies that set the framework for the district, and we have to make sure that we remember at all times that we are one of 5 and that we can't make decisions by ourselves. Some of the things that I bring, I think, to the board are my creativity. I'm collaborative, I'm a good communicator, and I actively seek community input. I constantly talk to moms on the playground and community members, parents that I've known for a long time, and people that I grew up with, just to see what the community is feeling. I think that that is really important because the district is reflective of the community, and we need to make sure that that is reflected in what we do as a board. But we also have to know what our boundaries are. You know, there are some things that we can't do. We have to know that it's not part of what we do as a board, and we have to know how to guide people in order to direct them to where they need to go to get answers. And I think part of that too is, you know, if somebody comes to you with a complaint, you need to then make sure that you're following up with them, and that's kind of part of the listening and communication piece.
Time.
Okay.
Is that-
It goes quick.
Travis, you're up next. You all set? Would you like me to read the
I
question?
didn't catch the second part of the question.
Okay. How do you define the specific role and responsibilities of a board member within the Hamilton Central School District? And given your current professional and personal obligations, how do you plan to manage the significant time commitment required to be an effective, prepared member of this board?
Okay. Am I on? Yep. So I define the role of the school board as governance and fiduciary oversight, not day-to-day management. The board's primary responsibility is strategic, to hire and evaluate the superintendent, set the district policy, ensure that every dollar of the budget is justified. We are what you might say the legislative branch of the district. We provide the blueprint while the superintendent and staff handle the construction. Now, as an individual board member, I would have no singular authority, none. Yet, it would be my responsibility to be informed, independent, and I'd have a duty to arrive at every meeting prepared, having comprehensively read the board packet and other things so that I can ask the technical questions the public deserves to hear. I believe the most important characteristic of an effective board member is the ability to maintain a professional, steady hand, regardless of the topic. A good board member must be a consensus builder who values data over emotion and possesses the discipline to arrive at every meeting fully prepared. Now, my work as a craftsman has taught me that professionalism is about more than just showing up. It's about respecting the integrity of the process and the chain of command. So it's about understanding that once you sit at the board table, your job is to represent the entire community, not your personal views or outside agendas. Board members have a very important task, to be the stewards of the community's investment. Now, as far as time committed, I treat this role very seriously, not as a passive interest, because this community deserves board members who are fully invested in volunteering their time for the betterment of the district. So I know I'm running out of time. I'll just say I was a board member for 3 years before, and if you see the wad of papers on the table before me, you will see the almost over-preparedness that I took to the job, so I could do that again. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Travis. Okay. Casey, do you need me to ask the question again?
I think I'm okay. Was it, I could hear it one more time, actually.
Okay. How do you define the specific role and responsibilities of a board member within the Hamilton Central School District? And given your current professional and personal obligations, how do you plan to manage the significant time commitment required to be an effective, prepared member of this board?
Okay, well, I think the role is to be an effective team member with the rest of the board and the superintendent. Be a good listener, understand the issues that the school is facing, develop a rapport with all the community members so that people can approach me and talk to me about issues they may be facing, and then I can bring those to the proper channels to find solutions. I need to advocate for every student, all students, and make sure everyone is feeling welcome and like they're part of the school. I understand that my job is not to run the school district, but to make sure that it's running well and Everything is running smoothly. I think I'll be able to have time to put in. I'm self-employed, so if extra time is needed for school board events or meetings, I can make that time. I also spend a lot of my free time at kids' games, school events, things like that, talking to other parents and teachers. So I think that will be a benefit to me. I can be working, but also just spending time in the community. So I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to work with the team, and that's what I have for that answer.
Okay. Thank you, Casey. Okay, the sixth question tonight. Travis will be first on this. Casey, you'll be asked second, and Amanda, you'll be asked third. You all set, Travis?
Yeah.
What will you do as a board member to make sure our schools are safe and prepared for an emergency?
Patrick, can you repeat that one more time for me?
Yes. What will you do as a board member to make sure our schools are safe and prepared for an emergency?
Okay, if you can just raise when I have 10 seconds left, that would help me out. Student and staff safety is a core foundational responsibility of the board and district, and one that I take very seriously, not just as a candidate, but as a parent whose family has been directly affected by such violence. This past year, my then 4-year-old son was in a lockdown. He had to hide in his classroom and with his teachers for hours at his daycare during an active shooter incident at SUNY Morrisville. Meanwhile, my wife got caught up in the situation during pickup time and had to hide in her car nearby. It was a pretty traumatic experience, not just for them, but for everyone involved. So when you hear me talk about school safety, know that I know firsthand that these are not just hypothetical scenarios. They are real, terrifying experiences that stay with a family. And yes, my children go to school here, and my wife works here as well. So when I learn of incidents, especially locally, it scares the crap out of me. As a board member, my focus would be ensuring our district-wide safety plan is a living document, not just a file on a shelf. We must apply precision to our physical security, from entryways to surveillance. We should increase our involvement with our local police department so that we're all on the same page if something would ever happen. We should conduct trauma-informed lockdown and fire safety drills so that our students and staff are prepared without needlessly being frightened. While I have always been open to exploring every option that enhances security, including the SPO concept, I also recognize that we must weigh these additions against our fiscal reality and the priorities of our incoming superintendent. With the new cell phone in the classroom rules, we also must continue to inform our families of how to reach their children in a school if there's ever a situation. Safety also requires a commitment to intervention. We do that through our guidance department and local partners that give important instruction to our teaching our students of all ages how to process high. So my goal will be to protect the board and administration to provide a fluid, stable framework where every parent can trust their children are protected by a system that is both technically sound and deeply compassionate.
Okay, thank you, Travis. Casey, would you like me to read the question again? Would you like me to raise my hand when you have 10 seconds left?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll make it there. I think that we need to make sure that proper safety policies are being followed and that all students and faculty and parents know how to follow these policies and what they are. I believe educating students on being safe and reporting unsafe behaviors would be the highest priority. And I think continuing to do fire drills, early release drills, and keeping on schedule with all of those is very important also. And just keeping making sure we're keeping track of who's coming in and out of the school, and that's about it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Casey. Okay, Amanda, would you like me to read the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. What will you do as a board member to make sure our schools are safe and prepared for an emergency? I'll indicate when there's 10 seconds left.
Okay. First, I think that we need to, as others have said, we need to look at our district safety plan and make sure that that is constantly being reviewed and is up to date. They have also said we need to maintain drills and educate students. You know, my second graders come home with sheets every so often talking about, you know, how they can protect themselves, personal safety, and they do that through the counseling office here. But more than that, I think that what we need to do is, and I say this a lot, but we need to look at data and do research about what things are recommended to keep students safe. I was a big advocate of maintaining our SEL program. I think that that is essential in preventing bullying, giving kids the tools that they need to grow and to be good citizens, to be good peers to their classmates. I also supported the creation of the anti-bullying tool that we have on our website, and just, you know, doing the things that have been proven to help in situations, making sure that if you see something, you can say something, and making sure that that then is also taught and reiterated to children. I do put a high priority on safety, and I'm constantly doing the research, you know, on my weekends when I carve out time to go to the coffee shop to look into what latest studies are recommending, to look at what measures are important in terms of security, in terms of, you know, having one point of entry, and in terms of having school psychologists and social workers on the premises so that they can intervene if any students need that. Is that my 10 seconds? But it's something that I prioritize and would prioritize in the budget and for all the students.
Okay. Thank you, Amanda. Okay, our seventh and last question of the night, and then we'll move on to the candidate closing statements. Last question, we'll start with Casey first, we'll go to Amanda second, and Travis third. Casey, what is your perspective on shared services, regional collaboration, or cost-saving measures, and how might they benefit the district?
Could you read it for me one more time, please?
Yes. What is your perspective on shared services, regional collaboration, or cost-saving measures, and how they might benefit the district?
Well, I think they could benefit the district if they are saving money but not dropping in quality when it comes to the services or benefits that students are getting. I think when it's practical to share or collaborate with another district, it could probably have benefits of learning and socializing with outside schools. And so I'm definitely in favor of exploring the opportunities that would come with those things, but I'm not wanting to cut programs if we're going to lose quality. And that's it for that.
You all set?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Casey. Amanda, would you like me to read the question again?
Yes, please.
Okay. What is your perspective on shared services, regional collaboration, or cost-saving measures, and how might they benefit the district?
I'm all for exploring anything that can benefit students and save the district and taxpayers money at the same time. I don't think that we can compromise opportunity, but I do think that if we look to regional partnerships with other school districts, with other universities, with some of the, I don't know even if there would be any online situations that could help. We have to get creative again in order to offer more opportunities. I mean, that could be something that could really broaden some horizons. For example, Latin. We don't have Latin at our school anymore. If we wanted to take a Latin class, could we exchange, could a student go either online to a district that does offer it? So in that way, it could expand opportunities. And I think that we have a lot to offer too. Looking at regionalization, we could be the school that offers a lot of AP courses to students from other surrounding districts that maybe don't offer as many AP courses as we have. I mentioned before, we could have some students from other districts come in and maybe get a dual credit course with one of our ag teachers in the district. I think that we have to get creative, and all the school districts in this area are in the same position that we're in, with declining enrollment, declined financing, and then also increasing needs. I mean, everybody is kind of struggling. And I think if we all work together, we're going to be able to find some really creative solutions, and that would allow our students to kind of broaden their horizons, broaden their communities, and we would just increase opportunities. So I'm all for looking into how we can make that happen in a broader sense.
You all set?
Yep, thanks.
Okay, Travis, would you like me to read the question again?
Yes, one more time, please.
Okay. What is your perspective on shared services, regional collaboration, or cost-saving measures, and how might they benefit the district?
Okay, so, when we talk about that, a lot of people jump to mergers. So when we talk about the future of HCS, we have to choose honesty over past friction. Many years ago, this district explored a potential merger, and we learned the voters of this district overwhelmingly disapproved it. So we saw divides, delays, complex labor issues. So instead, my focus would be on collaboration, not consolidation. We have to recognize that while we want to be the masters of our own house, we cannot afford to be on an island. I advocate for expanding our regional partnerships through BOCES and exploring new shared service agreements with neighboring schools and municipalities. This is the middle ground where we can pool our resources to offer advanced coursework, specialized technology, and extracurriculars that HCS might not be able to afford alone, all while receiving state aid to offset the cost. I'm also open to the concept of regionalizing specific academic and athletic programs, such as shared high school electives or certain sports teams, provided that we firmly maintain our own values. But sharing the tools of education with our neighbors, we must protect the structure of our local school district. We need to continue to advocate to our lawmakers directly and through organizations such as NYSBA to pressure our lawmakers to provide us with the funding, laws, and resources we need. We need to work with our local townships in the village to stress to them the importance of building affordable housing. Part of our enrollment woes are due to the homes in this district being bought up by LLCs. And also the housing market and local taxes have made it very difficult for families with children to move into or stay into this district. So my goal is to ensure that the Hamilton Central School remains a stable, independent foundation for our students. We can provide world-class opportunities without giving up our local control. By applying these disciplines to the partnerships, we ensure that every agreement is fiscally sound and serves our students' best interest. And I'm ready to lead the efforts and will be honored to have your support.
Thank you, Travis. Okay. Lastly, we're going to have the candidates give their closing statements. There'll be 3 minutes each. I will raise my hand again when you have 10 seconds left, so each has the opportunity to see that. All right, please try to stay within the time. First, we'll have Amanda, then Travis, then Casey. Let me know when you're ready, Amanda.
I'm ready. I had my daughter time this, so it's actually only 2 minutes. But first of all, I want to thank everybody here for attending, and I want to thank Travis and Casey for being here too. It's very clear to me that everyone in this room all feel passionately about this district. That's why you're all here. That's why we're all here. I want to thank also Sung Chae for his 3 years of service on the board. He was very committed, and just wanted to say thank you to him too. My 8-year-old son the other night, when I was preparing for this, said, "Mommy, why do you want to do the board again?" And from his perspective, he's thinking of it as Mom's not going to be here for bedtime again, periodically. I told him it's because I care. I said it's because I care that every child in the district can have access to the best education, including him, his sisters, his friends. And he just said, oh, and went back to playing with Legos, but then I stepped on some, that really hurt. But that question has stayed with me over the course of the past couple weeks. 3 years ago, I ran because I cared. I cared about the community that supported me. I cared about the institution that I attended, and now all my children attend. I had an idea about how school boards work and about the importance of their work, but these last 3 years have taught me so much more than I could have imagined. I still care deeply about this community, our teachers, and our students, but today that caring is also backed by experience. I'm ready to hit the ground running, and I'm looking forward to helping Ms. Falvo transition into the role of superintendent and to work closely with her to move us forward, making sure that we support every student every day. At the forefront of every decision, we really need to be asking, how does this help kids, and how does this affect our community? And I think after 3 years, I have a firm grasp of what's involved in board service, and I'm ready to be an even stronger advocate for our children and our community. I'm excited to work together to build a more vibrant and supportive educational community, and I thank you for your trust, your support, your commitment to our children and to their education. I'm looking forward to continuing this journey with you and respectfully ask for your vote on Tuesday, May 19th, noon to 8 in the bus garage. Okay. That's it. Was it 2 minutes?
You're all set?
Okay, yeah, all set.
Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate it. Travis, let me know when you're ready.
We got 3 minutes, right?
3 minutes.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so as you can see, I'm a very prepared person, and sometimes I find that like people are like, you just got to chill out, Travis. So I thought that I just wouldn't prepare a closing statement. So I think you need to understand that it's very important that a board has members that are ready to tackle the job. There are a lot of things facing this district, very serious things that if not addressed correctly, you can get your situation where you're digging out of a hole and you might never be able to dig out of it. So I have some areas of focus I've talked about tonight. Budget formation, good stewardships of the investment the community makes, exploring ways to maintain our current academic offerings, advocating for important early intervention, helping the board to work with the new superintendent. I'm really surprised we didn't get a question today about the bus garage. I hear a lot about that. I'm not going to like armchair look at it. It's in the past, it's moving forward. There are things we have to do because the building is in decline. I understand the frustrations of people that voted against it, and I understand why people wanted to move forward with it. I think in the future, more input on the setting up stage of it would help alleviate this. Some people told me they didn't vote for it because of like one little thing, and that's important. The board does a very good job about collecting feedback, but sometimes I feel like it's a reactive and not a proactive reception of input. I see campaign signs that are up. I should dig mine out. What I really need is a public word of support. I'm kind of an introvert, so if you really like my platform, how prepared I am, or if you feel like I'd make a good board member, I would ask you to tell your friends, if they don't have a car, drive them. That's what I need. So my goal is to help provide the independent oversight required to ensure HCS remains a stable, reliable anchor for this community. I'm ready to apply my measure twice discipline to ensure every dollar in our nearly $17 budget is justified and every student has a clear pathway to success. And now I'm glad that I have some time, because what I'd really like to do is take a moment to thank Mr. Bill Dowslin for his many years of service to this district. I have children in this district. I have a wife in this district. He's like a grandfather in some ways. So we're really appreciative of his work over the years, and we're happy to welcome in our new superintendent. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Travis. Appreciate it. Okay, Casey, you're up next. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready?
All set?
Yeah. I just want to say I'm really looking forward to learning, working with my fellow board members, and building relationships with everyone in this community. And obviously the new superintendent, I'm very excited to meet her, and the little bit of talks I've had with Bill have been nice also. If I'm elected, I'll be the only board member with no prior experience, and I see that as a great learning opportunity for myself, as I know I will have plenty of experienced members teaching me about what it is to be on the board, what our shared visions are and goals for our district, learning about setting policy and adopting a budget. I'm eager to learn and bring no arrogance to the table. I vow to be a good listener and to advocate for all students. I will obviously maintain my role as a parent first and foremost, and be a board member second. By doing this, I will be able to still advocate for my own children and fulfill my role on the board of advocating for all students. I will always be approachable and non-judgmental. If elected, I hope to use this opportunity to have even more reasons to come to the school, build on my relationships, and be more involved. I promise to always provide a safe space for any issues to be discussed, and to learn and use the proper channels to have these issues addressed. I already have so much respect for the teachers and staff here at HCS. I enjoy walking through the front doors and always being greeted with smiles and friendly faces. It's a welcoming place to me, and I want it to be a welcoming place to everyone who walks through the doors. I pledge to always be a voice for anyone who feels unsafe or unwelcome at the school. My children have dealt with the stigma of being foster children, and I recognize the teachers, principals, and school community that have found the best ways for my kids to integrate, learn, succeed, and most of all, feel welcome here. I understand that everything is not perfect, but it will be part of my role as a board member to make sure the policies adopted by our district reflect these values that I know many of you share with me. Thank you for coming, and thank you for investing this time in your children's education. Thank you.
Set. Thank you, Casey. Appreciate it. Thank you all again. Good luck to all the candidates, and thank you for the New York State School Boards Association here tonight. We appreciate it. Good luck again. Thanks.
Patrick, thank you very much on behalf of the district for coming here tonight, for being our moderator. We really appreciate your time and commitment to the school. Thank you to everybody in the room this evening for being here, for being open listeners. As a reminder, the vote will take place on Tuesday, the 19th, from 12 to 8 in the bus garage. At this time, we do ask our candidates to please leave the school grounds promptly following the conclusion to avoid any additional conversations with attendees on school property. You know, just the best practice. So thank you. Again, thank you to all of you for the time and effort you put in, and please remember to vote on Tuesday. Have a good night.